Thanks for tuning in to this week's special half-hour edition on Hurricane Irene. Many areas got hit with floods, fallen trees, and no power. We visited a corner in Lake Mohawk to see what residents experienced in their neck of the woods. And also, we can't forget the earthquake that shook some residents. Take a look. How did you do during Hurricane Irene? Did you get any damage to your house?
Not really. A lot of limbs down, nothing really to the house itself.
And we caught you clean up. You're just doing a little leaves and everything?
Little leaves, little branches,
And obviously across the street, we still have a tree down, so you have no power as of right now.
Yeah, the electric went out about 5:30 in the morning, then it came on around, I'm going to say 11, and then 2 o'clock, that tree went down. And we've been out ever since, and it'd be nice to get it back, because stuff in the refrigerator is starting to go bad.
Our house is right up there, and it's fine. But we can't get our cars out because of this tree.
Right.
So.
And how long have you been out of power so far?
A day, 24 hours at least.
4 trees behind us, power's out, and we cannot get down our driveway. All in all, it's not the end of the world, but it's an inconvenience. If somebody would tell us, the police officer just told us at some point today. It's the first time anybody's told us anything, so it's great. It was fine. All of a sudden the rain stopped, and that's when the wind kicked in yesterday. And young Kevin and I were walking, looking and walking, and all of a sudden we just heard a snap. We heard a snap from the trees, and then we heard a snap from the transformer. We were prepared, but we weren't prepared for downed trees. We weren't prepared for being stuck in our driveway. If you see up where we live, it's a big hill. We weren't prepared for that, no.
How did you survive Hurricane Irene?
Just by staying inside, and actually the storm itself was fine. It was the tail end of it is what really gave us the worst problem, and it was all the wind. So we did have some water in the basement. Once we got electricity back at 11, we started to pump out the basement. An hour later, the tree fell, and then we went out again. We all thought it was pretty much done, and then we all came outside, and then the next thing you know, trees were blowing over everywhere. So it's the first hurricane I think a lot of people have been through around here, so it's something new for everybody.
Right.
But everybody's coming together and helping out a lot, so it's been good. I mean, I've met a lot of neighbors that I've never met before, so it's cool.
We can't forget that we also experienced an earthquake. Did you experience the earthquake yourself?
I did, yeah. I was up in Vernon, and that's where I work at a satellite facility. And yeah, my chair started moving back and forth, and I thought I was getting dizzy. And then everybody else started saying, "Do you feel that?" So yeah, I did. It was pretty cool, actually. Never seen one before or felt it.
Stay tuned. Up next is pictures sent in from my viewers online. We'll be right back.
Many politicians will tell you what they are going to promise. I ask you first to consider what's already been accomplished. We have reduced the workforce by almost 100 while maintaining services essential to the public. In these most challenging economic times, we've taken a hard look at what business the county should be in on an ongoing basis. Shared services within Sussex County are approaching the $3 million level with municipal interest that is about to grow exponentially. We have challenged our senior leadership to streamline the business process to adapt to doing more with less. We have many challenges ahead, but I promise you that while I'm in office, this candidate will not be driven by political ambition, but rather by what really matters at the end of the day, the aggregate benefit of the Sussex County taxpayer.
On Tuesday, November 8th, vote for Phil Crabb for Sussex County Freeholder.
You'll find a festive Mexican atmosphere and the best tasting Mexican food right here in Sussex County at Riviera Maya in Branchville. From the second you enter, you'll see why people have been flocking to us to treat their taste buds to authentic Mexican dishes. Every Thursday night, come and enjoy the live mariachi band. The times are fun and the food is great, but there's really only one way to experience Riviera Maya. Come in and taste Sussex County's #1 Mexican restaurant, Riviera Maya.
Here at Sussex County Community College, I really got the chance to be hands-on with my classes.
It was a big transition coming from the military to school, and being on a smaller campus, the professors give you a lot more attention that you need.
It was a good choice for me financially. I didn't want to move far away from home.
There's so many people that are so involved on campus, and the professors are just great.
When I transferred to Remco College, it was so seamless. All of my credits transferred. At Sussex County Community College, you can start here and go anywhere.
The Moorville Agency, providing insurance for towns, counties, schools, and public entities. The Moorville Agency, with over 30 years' experience in the field. The Moorville Agency. For more information, call George Moorville at 973-383-3110.
Enough talk about shared sacrifice. Ed Selby, Leslie Hune, and Jim Nye think it's time for us to share prosperity. We need state government that works for all of us. Selby, Hune, and Nye will work for a strong economy, for jobs, education, health care, security, and the environment. In the 24th District, elect Ed Selby for Senate, Leslie Hune, and Jim Nye for Assembly. Putting people first.
Skylands Weekly is being sponsored in part by Newton Medical Center, proud member of the Atlantic Health System. Learn more about the many ways they can care for you and your family by visiting them online at atlantichealth.org.
This week, I got help from my viewers from around the county to show the damage left from Hurricane Irene. These first few pictures were sent from Jay Fitzgerald of Hampton, who works for J. Kramer Landscaping. He said it's been a lot of late nights this week. Next, we have pictures sent in from Jamie Atkins from Wantage, where she got out to assess the damage left behind from the winds and rain. And finally, we have Joanne from Hampton Township with pictures of her farm. Joanne has pictures during the storm and parts of the farm that could now be mistaken for a pond. Thank you to everyone who posted and shared their pictures. Make sure to add the show's page on Facebook and chime in with your pics. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss the update on the hurricane headed our way. Stay tuned.
After 10 years of mismanagement and poor leadership, it's no wonder New Jersey has problems. But here in Sussex County, we have a team of legislators fighting for us, taking on the courts to bring back more funding to our schools, fighting waste and overregulation to create jobs, cutting government spending and debt for property tax relief. It's a tough job in tough circumstances, one that Senator Steve Oraho, Assemblywoman Allison Littell McHose, and Assemblyman Gary Chisano do every day. That's why we call them our legislative team.
At CST, we make time stand still with ageless Versalock walls and matching one-piece monocast pavers. Versalock's solid one-piece engineering combines maximum versatility and exceptional strength. With matching CST monocast one-piece pavers, the color and strength goes all the way through. Beautiful now, just as beautiful years from now. For ideas or a free house call, visit cstpavers.com.
It began with a promise to care for our communities with the most advanced medicine possible. This promise has never mattered more. That's why from Denville to Dover, from Booton to Sussex, you'll see us bringing it to life every day. Because the true test of a promise is how well you keep it. St. Clair's, turning promise into practice.
Skylands Weekly is being sponsored in part by Newton Medical Center, proud member of the Atlantic Health System. Learn more about the many ways they can care for you and your family by visiting them online at atlantichealth.org.
Welcome back to Channel 10. Meteorologist Tony Salimo has been tracking Hurricane Irene since it first showed up on radar. And now he's tracking the latest hurricane headed our way. Take a look as he gives us some history behind hurricanes hitting our area and the earthquake which shook us before Irene.
The earthquake that happened in Virginia, we felt it in spots up here. Some areas felt the shaking, others felt nothing, and that's due to the makeup of the earth underneath. Sometimes different soil matter underneath the ground here will shake more than others. So that's why you heard people say, oh, my office shook, but some other people said, oh, they didn't feel anything. We felt it here on the campus. We felt the desk move like you're sitting in an elevator, that kind of thing. And that's kind of the typical part. The difference in the earthquakes here and out in California is at California you have several plates that are involved out there. So one plate may shake, grind against another, so the area coverage might not be as big. Whereas here in the mid-Atlantic area, there's one large plate that goes from the Great Lakes across to New England and all the way down to the southeastern states. So if you have a quake within that plate, a larger area shakes, and that's what we felt. Hurricane Irene was one of the only 3 hurricanes that actually made landfall in New Jersey as a hurricane. There was a hurricane, unnamed of course, in 1921 that came ashore in New Jersey, went into New York City. The 1903 hurricane, which is being compared to Irene, that made landfall on the Jersey Shore and came up into the state too. Now Irene, the eye, came ashore actually in 3 spots. One in southern North Carolina near Atlantic Beach, and the second landfall was right by the southern part of Ocean County in a little area called Little Egg Harbor, and then it scooted back offshore and went in over western Long Island. We're still not to the peak of the hurricane season. We're getting into the ramp up now. The peak is around the 10th of September. It drops off at the end of September a little bit, but then the frequency peaks again in October. So we have a long way to go. The season runs till November 30th. What we're looking at here, this is an earlier picture of the new tropical storm Katia, has winds of 40 miles per hour. This is forecast to become a major hurricane over the next several days as we get into early next week. Continue on the generally westerly to northwesterly course, a little bit north of where Irene went. We just have to see where this goes, whether it heads to the U.S. coast or it takes that typical recurvature and curves out to sea. That's yet to be known. What we're looking at here is the ensemble models. This is all of the models put together. You're looking at what we call a spaghetti model chart. The reason we call these spaghetti models is because when you string them out, they look like spaghetti. That's one of the common things. But you can see how the models have a wide spread on the track as this system gets closer to the United States later next week. Several take it into the coast. One takes it right up, similar to Irene's track. And then the bulk of the models here shear the storm, make the curve. But this is going to be very preliminary. It's something you have to watch very closely, because sometimes when you get a pattern that brings hurricanes into one area, it tends to have a memory and you can repeat that pattern. We saw that in 2004 when 4 hurricanes hit the same area in Florida. So we have to just watch that this track, how this thing moves. Now people must be prepared. Hopefully Irene was a wake-up call for everyone in this area to understand that these storms are wide-reaching and can do lots of damage in many different aspects.
Thank you, Tony. Make sure to keep yourself informed on all the latest weather by visiting Tony's site at metts-alerts.blogspots.com. That's all for this edition. Don't forget to like the Skylands Weekly page on Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Most power has been restored, but if you are still in the dark and need assistance, make sure to contact your town's municipal building. Stay safe, viewers. I'm your host, Melissa Estock. Don't go anywhere. Up next is Sports Beat.